Alright, boys and girls, this is my Rxp X300, and the last going off I was having some issues and couldn't really figure out what it was. Kind of foolish once I get to what the actual issue is, but before we get there I'm going to bore you with what it was doing and how it was behaving and so forth. So it started off as it just basically lost a little bit of its top end. It didn't want to achieve its 78, 79 miles an hour that it's supposed to with my setup. It was only seeing like 71, 72, which is basically no different than having a Riva Scum on a stock one. So I mentioned it to Dave, and actually when I mentioned it to Dave, it was still achieving 74, but it wouldn't exceed that. So it was kind of getting worse as time went on. And so basically, first thing a person always assumes and wants to check out is your pump and your wear ring. Well, if you guys are following the channel, you know that I'm running a stainless wear ring from Riva Racing, and I've had my jet pump apart enough times in the last little bit that I know that there shouldn't be any issues in there. So I thought, well, maybe got something got up against the intake grate, maybe caused some damage to that. No, I got underneath, checked that out, that was all fine. So I was just kind of stumped, and well, we had a bunch of rain, so this machine didn't get a whole lot of use yet this year, but just the last few times I had it out, it just didn't seem like it was quite there, you know what I mean? It was lagging in performance for some reason. And I thought it might have been because of our hot temperatures. Like today it's 35 degrees Celsius out, which is quite warm for a boosted high horsepower motor application. So I tried doing a few runs with the seat off, and with the seat off I really didn't gain anything other than it sounded absolutely amazing. Major supercharger whistle. But anyway, got out on the lake with it, and everything was fine. A couple days ago we went to go back to the lake last night. When we got to the lake, the machine wouldn't start, and I thought, well, that's strange. I just drove it 2 days ago and seemed to be fine. So I grabbed a jumper pack and we boosted it in the water, which is probably a safety no-no, but whatever. I wanted to get my machine going. It was hot as hell. I worked all day. So we boosted it, we got it going. It seemed fine, other than, it was still lagging in performance, but, at least now it's up and running again. So I went out around the lake for a quick burn, thinking that it would bring the battery up and charge the battery enough that it would start on its own once I got back. And when I got back to shore, lo and behold, it wouldn't start. So I said, well, geez, that's kind of strange. So I had a little corrosion issue on my battery, which I thought, well, maybe that could be the issue. So we tried cleaning the terminals up a little bit, and they really weren't that dirty. So once we got the terminals cleaned up, it still wouldn't start. It just clicked in the ignition, and the cluster lights was like flashing on and off, on and off. You could hear the relay for the starter clicking under the hood. So then I got my multimeter out and multimetered it, and as soon as we hit the start button, we were way down in the 11s immediately. So I said, well, this looks like the battery shot. So it seemed like a simple fix. So we went and got a different battery, stuck a different battery into it. Actually, I kind of jumped the gun there. The last time I boosted it and took it out on the lake, it did seem fine and it did restart itself. But when I got out on the lake after about, maybe 10 minutes of driving, my IBR light started flashing. So you're like an IBR warning in the dash. It usually doesn't even come on when you're using the IBR. So the IBR started flashing red. I then noticed that I had no function of my IBR. I also had no reverse when I tried for reverse. So I brought it back into shore. Then we went and got a different battery. We stuck a new battery into it, and it's just like it's a whole new machine. way more acceleration out of the hole. Yesterday I achieved 77 miles an hour. I touched 78, but it wouldn't hold it. But I had it on 77 for quite a duration. So, you know, if your battery's not 100% up to par in these machines, or if you start having IBR failure and your IBR stops working, I would definitely do a battery test and see what's actually going on there. So the funny part is I really can't understand what drawed the battery down. It's been very nice weather. I'm really hoping that there's nothing else wrong with the machine, like as far as the charging system goes. But after we installed the new battery last night, I ran it for probably at least a good 2 hours, and it was just flawless performance. Just an absolute animal of a machine. But I got something funny I want to show you guys, for those of you who are still watching. I had a couple old, well, I won't say old, I had a couple new four-wheeler batteries for my scrambler in here, which are essentially pretty much the same size. They're a little more crank amps. So here's my four-wheeler battery, here's the battery out of the machine, here's the little dinky battery that we stuck in at the lake to do the trial run to make sure the battery was the issue. And both these batteries, I got this nice fancy Caterpillar charger here that the wife bought me for Christmas. And anyway, I put this on recondition, hooked it to the batteries, and I give it like probably a good hour. I came out and multimetered the battery, and this charger had essentially done nothing. My friend over the road has a, you know, a cheap, I believe it's called Nextec or Nextec battery charger that he bought off Amazon or something. It was like 30 bucks, and it's a 7-stage charger. All three of these batteries were labeled as junk, and we took those, all three batteries plus the one that's in the machine now, took them all over last night, and he charged them through the night and switched them so that they're all charged up, ready to go today. And amazingly, they all hold a good charge and they all work for now. Now, I'm not gonna, you know, count my stars and blessings before I get to use it a few times, but I know the battery was the issue, because this is the one that we ran a few hours yesterday, and then I came home and I got my two four-wheeler batteries. This is the one out of the Seadoo. Took them all over, charged them up, and this one out of the Seadoo, when we hooked it to the charger, for some reason it was only showing like 50-60%. So, you know, these things obviously can up and just shit the bed, but you know, it's strange that it did it in this warm weather, and well, it was basically under use quite a bit in the last few weeks. It's like I say, I'm hoping there's not actually something else wrong with the machine. So thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, and hope this helps you with any troubles you might have with your Seadoo.